This is Rostra, the St. Theodore Guerin Junior Classical League podcast, where we bring the lessons of classical study into the light for the benefit of all.
Welcome back to another episode of Rostra, and wow, we've got an interesting topic. It's an artistic topic today. We've got Erin Reynon with us today. Erin's in second year Latin. And Erin, talk to us first of all, what is your topic and why did you pick it?
I'm doing Roman mosaics, and I picked it because in art right now we're using scrap pieces of glass to mosaic a glass piece. So I was it just kind of caught my eye, and I feel like art is always a fun thing to look at, especially art history in different cultures.
Absolutely, and I know that you're doing that because right now we've got some art pieces out on display in the hallway right outside our room. I was literally just looking at the new display this morning. I saw a piece by you out there, so I know that's what you're doing. So talk to us a little bit about Roman mosaics. What are they? What were they used for? What have you found out about?
When I was researching it, I found that they were used for very practical reasons. It wasn't necessarily just for the art. It was a practical form of art, and because they would use it on floors, so it was tile.
And we've got a little bell there. That's one of the things that happens when you record at school during the school day. So keep going. You're saying that it's not just art for art's sake, but
yeah.
there's something practical to it.
They would use it for floors, so it was because paint and stuff that wears out more, and it's mosaicing was a more durable form of art, so they would use that and it was almost it was used so that people would look at it too. So it was it wasn't just you were walking to walk on something, it was you were walking to look at stuff. It just made things more engaging, and it was made of cubes of stone and ceramic and glass, and they also used it to illustrate their history and their culture and mythology too. It was just it was all other forms of art. It was just used to tell a story.
Definitely telling the story, and you got it exactly right. There's the historical stuff that we see in mosaics. There's the mythological stories and that kind of thing. I want to ask you, though, a question. It just occurred to me, and I want to ask you from your perspective as someone who is doing art. So you're from your perspective as an artist. Why do you think we do that? And what by that I mean is, why do you think we decorate things like that? For example, you don't need to decorate the floor. You can walk across the surface just fine, whether it's plain or decorated. So technically speaking, it isn't necessary. Yet we do it. All cultures, we decorate things, walls, floors, ceilings. Why do you think we do that?
I think that we decorate things because, just because it would be boring without it. If we didn't have art and stuff, I don't think people would be as engaged in things, because I feel if you sit in a room and it's just bland, then it's hard to pay attention. Even though people are this might be distracting, I feel it actually keeps people more engaged. But the Romans and their floors, wanting to keep people engaged in art, I feel it adds a lot to anything.
I think it's a great answer, and something that I hadn't thought of in quite that way. And I think you're right, because it isn't necessarily distracting. And I think about students who will fidget or will doodle, and some people think, well, maybe that means they're not paying attention. In fact, that's a way for them to stay focused. And you may remember a few years ago when fidget spinners were the big deal, and just something for people to mess with. We all do it, students and adults alike. And so, yeah, I think that's a neat thing. So you mentioned cubes, kind of stone and ceramics and so forth. And you mentioned on floors. Where else did you find mosaics? Was it just on floors? Was it anywhere else in Roman life?
I'm not sure that I don't remember, but like I know that it did talk about like it. I'm sure they used it as like other like just like displays, but like
Yeah.
it like went wherever they went, and like they had a very specific like they had a very, because I know like Greeks also used it, but like theirs was like very personal to them, and it was like they'd also like have like different like anything like has a trend.
Yes.
And they'd have like trends with their mosaicing, like black and white was like came into like popularity, and like other things. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's it. Boy, you said a couple things there. Certainly trends. We see that in fashion today, obviously clothing, trends in drama, trends in music, trends in graphic art as well. We certainly see that. Definitely different cultures used mosaic art. And one of the neat things about it, and you mentioned this in contrast to just paint, it is much more durable because you have these little pieces of stone or ceramic that are really set in stone, and so they're not really going anywhere. And so it is going to last. We have found lots of this stuff archaeologically, especially around the city of Pompeii, which was buried by the volcano Mount Vesuvius. We found lots of these in other places as well. So talk to us. You mentioned about history, you mentioned about mythology. Any other subject matter that popped up in terms of what people would make mosaics of?
I saw a lot of stuff about like nature.
Yeah.
They do a lot of nature, just like what was around them. I feel like they did a lot to like encapsulate like Romans.
Well, absolutely. And, I think so many cultures, well, first of all, most cultures start off, you're living more outside. And then you become more urban and there's more inside dwelling, but there's still that yearning to be outside. And so we see all these nature pictures. There's a famous one, again from Pompeii. It's a picture of a little dog. This is a little mosaic of a little dog, and it's spelled out in the mosaic. It says "Cave canem," which is Latin for "Beware of the dog." So the owners of the house want you to watch out. We've got a fierce doggy that lives here. So, if anything, what else did you find, or anything that you thought was really cool or neat that you want to be sure that you get out in this episode?
I don't know how, but like when I was reading about it, they were saying that like when they found the mosaics, or like when they find mosaics, like all of the colors are like just as vibrant as like they are today. And I just thought that was like interesting because it's like obviously they had less, like it probably took a lot more to like find like colors like that, but they were just like all their stuff like looks like stuff that we can make today with like. So
Yeah.
I just thought that was cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, some of it is because of naturally colored stone. Some of it is painted. A lot of stuff, though, again, if it's been buried and hasn't been exposed to rain and the elements and so forth, those colors are preserved pretty well. And again, I think back to stuff at Pompeii and other places as well. So it gives us a real picture into what that art actually looked like. So back to you as an artist. Would you ever want to actually try to make a mosaic in the Roman style? So you mentioned about working with glass and some of the things we do today. And again, I'm particularly thinking about some of the art that I've seen here on display. Definitely different in terms of materials and ways of putting it together. Would you ever be interested in exploring actually making it the way the Romans do it? Or are you going, man, that is so first century BC, man. I don't want to have anything to do with that.
Maybe. I just think because like they make a lot of like actual like pictures and stuff, and like I just like enjoy like just kind of throwing things together. I guess more like abstract, but like
Yeah.
like possibly, but it'd be like a lot harder for my brain, I feel like.
Gotcha. Well, and you're right. A lot of their stuff was pictures. You also have some geometric patterns you would see that would pop up, especially in borders and that sort of thing. I had a student several years ago, after she went to college, She majored in interior design, but she did a minor in classical studies, and I think she actually went to Rome, or did a trip to Rome, or I don't know, it was a semester abroad or something. But she was looking at ancient design as a way to inform and help shape her modern interior design. So a lot of times you'll see artists will bring aspects in from the old stuff there. So, well, very good, Erin. It was great to have you with us on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to all go out looking for Roman mosaics.
Thank you for listening to Rostra. You may check out all our episodes on Spotify and follow us on social media at GuerinJCL. That's at GuerinJCL.